Reed Sheppard was an offensive dynamo all season. His early season statistical dominance felt like an anomaly as he was posting numbers that we've never really seen before. That is until it persisted throughout the entire season. Sheppard finished shooting 52.5% from three on 4.4 attempts. Per synergy, Sheppard ranked in the 100th percentile spotting up, the 94th percentile in the pick and roll, the 72nd percentile in transition, the 100th percentile on all jumpers, and the 99th percentile in both shooting off the catch and off the bounce. Sheppard produced a video game-esque season with his absurd efficiency, consistency, and production. Let's take a look at what made his season so special and why he'll be one of the top picks in the 2024 NBA Draft. I'm Tyler Metcalf. Welcome to Film School. All right, the first place we have to start with Sheppard's offense is the shooting. If you're still doubting it at this point, I don't know what to tell you because everything tells you that he is an absolute elite shooter. The volume, the efficiencies, whatever comparisons you want to look at, the percentile rankings, the mechanics, the confidence, the variety, the different areas of the floor that he consistently executes in, everything tells you that he is one of the best shooters in recent drafts in the country. So if you're still doubting it, you got me. I'm at a loss. Now, if you just really, really want to nitpick it and come away with a single hesitation, frustration, concern, however you want to classify it, is that it would be nice if Sheppard had a little more volume. He's not going to be one of these guys where he goes out there and starts jacking up 20 shots a game. At his efficiencies, that would be fantastic, but he's way more measured in his approach. He picks his spots perfectly and just constantly makes the right decisions, and that's a theme with his all-around game that we'll see throughout this video. So, yeah, he's not a big high-volume scorer, but he is constantly making the right decision every time, and it's absolutely perfect the way that he gets into his shots and exactly what you want from a lead guard who's able to knock down jumpers from every area of the floor, get his own shots, and then also create for others. So the NBA is obviously a heavy pick and roll league, and we're just going to see here with Sheppard that it's really easy for him to just kind of get into a shot out of the pick and roll. So early offense here, Kentucky's just going to run a standard side pick and roll, nothing fancy here, but there's a little bit of miscommunication on the defense here that Sheppard's immediately going to pounce on. So the first mistake is that drop defender seems like he's trying to ice it. There's not a whole lot of communication here because the on-ball defender is not positioned to keep Sheppard out of the middle of the floor. As the screen comes from Aaron Bradshaw, on-ball defender goes under the screen. You got to read the scouting report because I guarantee you that going under the screen on Sheppard was not on there. And now as he's going off that screen, the drop defender has been taken out of this play, and Sheppard has all of this space completely wide open. So as he pulls up and confidently gets into a shot, look at the space here. The defender, when we watch it in full motion, you'll see it a little clearer, but the defender actually does a decent job of getting through the screen quickly and getting an okay contest that would disrupt most college shooters, but Reed Sheppard isn't most college shooters. The mechanics here are sound. The base is strong. He gets a good elevation on his shot. Great upper body mechanics here. And just the distance here, that is absolutely wide open for a shooter of Sheppard's caliber. And the other thing I really, really have to point out here, look at how deep he is. It's not that he's right on the line where when you try and translate it to an NBA 3, it ends up being a 2. He is well behind the college arc here. He is well behind the NBA line. So he is effortlessly and confidently pulling up from NBA range and reading and processing the entire pick and roll coverage very, very quickly. Knocks it down. Let's watch it in full speed one more time just to get a better sense. Comes off the screen, confidently hops into it. Cash. One of the really fun things about Sheppard's offensive profile is that he can, and his shooting profile in general, is that he can kind of get into his shots both on ball and off ball. When we talk about him as an off ball shooter, it's not the type where we think of a Klay Thompson or Jordan Hawkins or Ray Allen or JJ Redick, where he's sprinting off screens, hitting movement stuff, reorienting his body in midair. That's not who he is as a shooter. But when you put him in motion, and he's fantastic at relocations, when you put him in motion running off of screens and off of DHOs, it allows him to maximize his processing speed, his playmaking vision, his decision making, and his shooting threat all into a really unique package that there aren't really many guards in this class who also possess that. So he's not a big time movement shooter, but that doesn't mean that he's not an off ball shooting threat. So as Kentucky kind of initiates their offense here, Dillingham's just going to kick it over to Mitchell, then comes set an off ball screen on Blue Kane here that Sheppard's then going to go into the DHO with Trey Mitchell. The key here is watch how quickly Sheppard recognizes Blue Kane's mistakes and the space that he's afforded here off the pitchback. So Kane initially goes under the first screen, as we just saw. Bad idea with Sheppard. As Sheppard gets the ball, the play is set up for him to kind of go off this screen by Mitchell, but he knows that Blue Kane is way below the three-point line, giving him, yet again, a ton of space from NBA range. So this type of shot, it should translate. There shouldn't be any doubts that he can effectively and efficiently launch from NBA range. He sees all this space that he's being afforded by the defense, so why bother going off the screen and allowing either his defender or the help defender to then apply more pressure and get back in possession? Instead, he just confidently rises up from really deep and knocks home the three. So at full speed here, as we can see, kind of his processing speed and his confidence can't give him an inch of space. So Sheppard does have a pretty modern shot distribution, at least this year, where the bulk of his shots came from three or at the rim, but that doesn't mean that he lacks an in-between game and an ability to knock down shots in the mid-range. This year, he ranked in the 96th percentile on runners and the 98th percentile on short mid-range shots, so that's like from jumpers from the rim to about 17 feet or so. So once he's able to get in there, he is more than capable of knocking down jumpers in the mid-range. The reason that his kind of volume and sample size is lower in that range is because it's not the most efficient shot he can take, and also once he gets into the paint, he typically looks to distribute and create for others on his team, which we will see more of in later clips. But this isn't anything overly complicated, but it shows his confidence and ability to just quickly get to his spots, find the gaps and the holes in the defense, and make them punish for not picking them up. So he's going to push early in offense here, crosses over, gets to that right elbow, confidently rises up over the help defender's late contest, and knocks it down. It's not flashy, but it's confident, it's simple, it's able to be replicated. That's an NBA type of shot. That's a shot that we've seen guys like Chris Paul make a living off of. I'm not saying he's Chris Paul, but we've seen point guards regularly get into the shot, push the pace, use their big man who's running in transition as kind of a pseudo screener to create a little bit of confusion among the defenders here, find that little open pocket, not need a massive window to shoot, explodes off of 2 feet, high release point, elevates over the defenders, and knocks down a shot. It's a big-time jumper, and that's an NBA-level move where he's able to consistently get to his spots and get a really good look. Sheppard's defensive playmaking ability has been highly touted all season, and his ability, his quick hands force turnovers. He's a good rebounder. He's a really good shot blocker. But why that matters for his offense is that he constantly and immediately turns those defensive possessions into high efficient offensive looks. It's really highlighted in his hit-ahead passing, which we'll get into in a minute here, but he's also more than capable of getting his own points in transition after forcing a turnover or making a play on defense. So here we're going to see him communicate the switch, go on ball, use those quick hands to poke the steal away from Elliot Cadeau, and as he kind of gathers the loose ball here and pushes in transition, he doesn't have numbers here, and he's not a big-time athlete who's going to attack the rim, but he sees Cadeau down by the free throw line, and he's just going to confidently step up into this jumper and knock it down. There's nothing crazy about this play, but again, it just highlights the confidence. And if you look at the records, this is early in the season. So for a freshman coming off the bench who wasn't one of Kentucky's biggest name recruits with preseason draft buzz to just confidently knock down a transition three like this, that's big time. Easy shot, easy look, really high level stuff and just one of many, many examples of Sheppard immediately turning great defense into quick offense. One of the bigger question marks about Sheppard's scoring game translating to the NBA is his rim pressure and his ability to consistently finish at the rim. He is only going to be listed at 6'2"-ish, give or take. Isn't a consistently above the rim finisher. He can, get up in transition or with a clear lane, but mostly, especially in the half court, he's a below the rim finisher. This season, less than a quarter of his shots came at the rim, so the volume isn't there a whole lot. Going against NBA athletes and NBA defenders and NBA rim protectors, it's going to be tougher, and it wouldn't be shocking if we see Sheppard's rim pressure numbers decline even from there. Despite all of that, Sheppard still has shown a lot of craft, a lot of creativity, and a lot of scoring touch around the rim. So there are definitely really encouraging signs of ability to pressure the rim. Despite only taking a quarter of his shots, or less than a quarter of his shots at the rim this year, he's still ranked in the 65th percentile in at-rim scoring and shot over 60% at the rim. So solid numbers, especially for his size. But it's all about how is his craft and patience and touch and finishing angles, how is that going to continue to develop? And we saw throughout the year, he continued to implement different little pieces to his at-rim scoring. So here we have just kind of a fun little example out of the pick and roll where as he comes off the screen, drop defender is showing a little bit, but not a lot. There's a lot of space here for Sheppard to attack. And he's immediately reading that Tremont Mark, his primary defender, is going over the screen. So he knows that he has to attack downhill. At least finally someone read the scouting report and didn't go under on him. But he knows that he has the space to get into as Mitchell rolls to the middle of the floor. As Sheppard is coming off the screen, he's going to obviously be aware of what Mark is doing, but he's also reading the movement of the drop defender and also this corner weak side defender. He knows that the strong side corner defender should stay home. If he doesn't, that's an easy kick out to DJ Wagner, and Antonio Reeves' defender is going to have to stay really tight on him just because of how lethal of a scoring threat Reeves was all season. So as Sheppard comes off that screen, he gives just a little hesitation move. That hesitation just sends the drop defender back to Mitchell way too early for this defender. He is way too eager to get out of the way here and just leaves Tremont Mark out to dry and gives Sheppard a wide open driving lane. As Sheppard attacks, he sees this defender is nowhere close. He's nowhere close to making that rotation in time. Sheppard turns on the jets, elevates, gets to the rim before anyone else, and finishes with the layup. One more time at full speed, just to see the impact of this little hesitation move that freezes that defender, reads the weak side defenders who are more concerned with other aspects and not paying attention to the ball. Easy layup. All right, on this one, we're going to see Sheppard yet again get to the rim with a good amount of kind of craft and creativity, and just kind of continues to find those tiny little miscues with the defense and exploit them. So as he goes and gets the handoff from Mitchell here, you're going to see Zion Pullen signal to Riley Kugel to switch this. So as Sheppard kind of has the ball here, he's just going to use a subtle little head fake to, not quite a full shot fake, but a facsimile of one that gets Kugel to kind of step out a little bit sloppy on Sheppard. So as he does so, Kugel is now kind of in a square stance and not fully in front of Sheppard as he was trying to fight through that switch with Mitchell. And as Zion Pullen made that switch, he is now on Mitchell, but his back is turned and kind of giving all of the space that Sheppard just came from back to Sheppard to attack into while he's kind of in the way of Kugel. So Pullen and Mitchell are still kind of setting a screen here for Sheppard, and by attacking back into that space, since Pullen did turn his back and isn't in a position to switch back onto Sheppard, Sheppard knows that he can attack downhill here and just kind of read what this help defender is going to do. So with that quick first step, Sheppard gets downhill, and he's just reading what this defender is going to do because he knows that he has the space here. As he attacks downhill, he knows Trey Mitchell is going to set kind of another pseudo screen by posting up, eliminating Pullen from the play. And as Sheppard explodes, the help defender here doesn't really do anything. If you're going to help out a strong side corner, which you shouldn't, help out a strong side corner. Don't just stand here in no man's land and just wildly swipe at the ball. But the threat of Big Z over here on the wing kind of freezes and creates just this tiny little driving lane for Sheppard to attack into. So as Sheppard comes off, we can see him explode off that left foot and elongate his stride to get through the traffic here. He keeps the ball high to keep it secure and not allow these lazy digs from the defenders to knock it loose. So he explodes off his left foot, gets skinny, elongates that stride, covers a ton of ground, really firmly plants that right foot to kind of slow down and maintain his, or get his momentum under control, and then finishes with the inside scoop finish. So one more time, at full speed, attacks back against the defender's momentum, gets skinny, that bursts through traffic, that ability to really stretch out his stride here and control his momentum. That's really high-level stuff, and then he has the touch to finish at the rim, despite his momentum carrying him well past the rim. So Sheppard isn't a flashy space creator where he's constantly sending guys reeling and knocking down step-back jumpers, but he's so good at using just little subtle shot fakes and jab steps to manipulate a defender's momentum and then immediately capitalize and counter that momentum to create a good shot. So whether it's securing the ball through traffic or using a jab step or a shot fake, Sheppard is really good at just maximizing the space that's afforded to him. And in this clip, we kind of see him implement all of those little things into a really, really solid possession here. So as he gets the ball, just a little subtle shot fake from deep that the defender has to respect, gets the defender out of his defensive stance. And now that he's more upright, he's a little more vulnerable to be manipulated. And Sheppard knows that. So he's going to use just a little jab step, which gets the defender stepping back out of his shot contest and has his momentum coming towards the camera, and Sheppard's immediately going to counter that and drive to the left. So from there, Sheppard now has him on his hip and has a pretty clean driving lane here. The help defender does a good job of kind of digging without abandoning his responsibilities, but Sheppard does an even better job of securing the ball through traffic. He elongates his strides to get through that traffic and get to a spot, does a beautiful job of using his body and the ball placement to make sure that this retreating defender isn't going to be able to block it. So he does a great job of shielding the ball and protecting the ball as he goes up. He goes into the defender's chest to eliminate his ability to get a clean block on him, and then has the strength and balance to adjust midair, gets the shot off, good scoring touch that gets it to fall, and draws the foul. So just full speed here. Little shot fake, jab, rip, drive, initiate the contact, finish through the contact, get the foul. Really, really high-level play that pieces all of those little things together for a high-quality look. Sheppard's quick burst and kind of craftiness is also really, really valuable in his transition scoring game and ability to get to and attack the rim before the defense can even react and get into position. So here he gets the outlet pass and immediately pushes. As he crosses half court, he sees that his only deterrence to the rim is his primary defender. Florida has no one back below the free throw line. The rim protector isn't in the paint. There isn't an interior defender in sight. So Sheppard knows that as of right now, he just has to beat his primary defender. So as he attacks, he's going to veer just a little bit towards the middle of the floor, which gets his defender to kind of switch his feet placement and turn his hips just enough that makes that high foot vulnerable and allows Sheppard to explode into this crossover into all of this empty space. So as Sheppard crosses over, the defender does a decent job of kind of recovering and eating up space just because he's so much bigger than Sheppard. But Sheppard has the quickness, and he's already created the driving lane where he has the corner turned on his defender. Still, no rim protector in sight. As Sheppard sprints to the rim, he blows past the defender, and then to kind of further secure the ball and get to the rim even quicker than he already is against his defender, he goes up with that left hand inside scoop finish and finishes really crafty stuff. So full speed, crosses full court, no one in sight, explodes into that crossover, and then just really crafty finish that beats the defender and doesn't allow him to block his shot. It would be great if Reed Sheppard's at rim attempts and volume was a lot higher, but a big reason that it is as low as it is, it's not devastatingly low, it's just, not ideal. But the reason that it is less than a quarter of his shots is because once he gets into the paint, he's typically looking to find his teammates and create even more efficient shots for others as he attracts defenders' attention and they're able to kind of relocate and cut into open pockets around the rim. And since they are typically bigger and more explosive than he is, they have a much higher chance of finishing those looks or drawing a foul. So here, Reed's just going to kind of push in transition. And as he attacks left against the mismatch, defenders watching him, and this defender was watching him, currently completely lost, back turned to the ball, and he lost track of Antonio Reeves, who is now really astutely cutting baseline. Reed's eye line is right here. He sees that this defender's out of the play right now, and he sees that Antonio Reeves is cutting into all of this space. So as Sheppard attacks, he gets to a spot and knows that Reeves is wide open going to the rim. To make sure that he gets this pass off, though, he changes the release point of the ball, and is able to deliver that jump pass over the help defender to a cutting Reeves that sets up a foul. All right, in full motion here, or full speed here, so we got the defender looking. Great cut by Reeves. Sheppard has the awareness where the entire time he's bringing the ball up, he has his eyes up and is looking for the right play, and Antonio Reeves is more than happy to make himself open and get free throws out of it. This time we can see how Sheppard is able to get to the lane to create for a teammate using a lot of those little kind of subtle jab steps and fakes that we saw in his scoring game, while also reading the defenders and just knowing where everyone is going to be on the floor. It's a really fun example of his subtle moves, how much he can kind of move and then counter a defender, and just his sense of floor spacing. So as Mitchell kicks it out to him, Mitchell is going to come set the screen, and Sheppard can see that the defender is preparing to either blitz or switch here, and Sheppard simply doesn't want to deal with it, so he's going to use a little jab step that sends the defender the other way, and the help defender is in fact at the level here. So as Sheppard, after moving the defender, Sheppard's attacking and eating up all this space to his left on the baseline drive, but he also knows that this defender is now basically out of the play already, and that Mitchell is going to be able to roll into all of this space. As Sheppard attacks, he can see here that Mitchell's in his eye line, and he knows that the defender's trailing him, and that Mitchell's rolling into the restricted arc, basically unattended, and that the rim protector is preparing to switch on to Sheppard here and kind of force him out of bounds. Sheppard takes every inch of the floor that's afforded to him and leaves his feet, lets his momentum carry him out of bounds, but delivers a backhanded bounce pass through traffic against his momentum that gets perfectly to Mitchell. He doesn't get the bucket, but he gets the foul. Just really high level stuff, full speed, just jab, rip, drive, just really high level floor spacing and passing accuracy, and just really being in tune with every single piece and how it's moving on the floor. All right, on this one, we get a really good sense of how Sheppard's able to use his off-ball movement and that threat of his shot to create similar drive and dump opportunities, but more so from an off-ball roll. As Kentucky kind of gets into their offense, Dillingham's going to circle middle and then drive to his left. As he does so, Sheppard had done a really good job of kind of lifting out to the wing to make himself available, but as Dillingham drives, Sheppard's defender is ball watching, and Sheppard does what every good off-ball shooter should be doing, and that's sinking into the corner as their teammate drives. You always have to make yourself available to your teammates when they're driving into traffic, and that's exactly what Sheppard does here. Dillingham makes the right kickout pass. Sheppard attacks the closeout by his defender and drives into space. As Sheppard drives, his scoring gravity attracts the rotation from two help defenders here, and things are getting really mucked up. And here there's a lot of size, there's a lot of length, there's a lot of just bodies that Sheppard has to deal with, but he never panics. He's always under control, and despite being basically triple teamed here, his eyes are up, and he sees that Aaron Bradshaw is wide open in the middle of the lane. He knows that Josh Hubbard isn't going to provide any real weak side defense here, just the size disparity alone. And as Sheppard kind of maintains his composure, he sees that this defender, Bradshaw's defender, is now stepping out to Onyenso and has no clue that Bradshaw is there. Sheppard elevates, changes the release point of the pass, delivers the pass, sets up Bradshaw for an easy dunk. Just really subtle but high-level stuff from Sheppard, and really, really impressive composure to get this pass off despite all of the defenders in his way. One of the bigger kind of complaints or concerns that I've seen with when Sheppard gets mentioned in his translation to the NBA is, what position is he? Is he really a point guard? And while a lot of his kind of passing stuff does come on the interior and is a little more of the connective passing sort, there's a lot of really high-level playmaking that goes on. We just saw it on the interior, but we also see it on the perimeter. So here we can see as Sheppard just kind of pushes and initiates the offense, just going to run a standard high pick and roll and just immediately get into the offense and pressure the defense. So as he comes off the screen, this little hesitation is just to survey what the drop defender is going to do and what this weak side defender is going to do. So he attacks the space that's afforded to him. Since the drop defender is kind of getting caught in between here, he's not fully dropping back to Big Z, but he's not fully stepping up to Sheppard. The weak side defender here is rotating over to tag and try and take away a lob from Kentucky's rim running center. It's the right play to do, but he's a little aggressive on his help here. Sheppard is reading this defender the entire way. As he kind of comes downhill, he sees that he has both feet in the paint and knows that Justin Edwards is going to be wide open in the corner. Justin Edwards knows he's wide open in the corner. Left hand live dribble pass right in the shooting pocket, 3. That is a really high level point guard play. It doesn't matter what position you are, being able to deliver an offhand live dribble skip pass for the open 3, that is high level stuff. Yeah, he makes Edwards take a little bit of a step to his left. It could have been 100% accurate. It was like 80% accurate, but with your offhand through traffic, making that reading the weak side defenders, that's really, really high level stuff. Just one more time at full speed. Good job resetting the pick and roll, reads the help, delivers money. This is a really fun example of how much kind of faith and confidence Kentucky has in Reed Sheppard's decision making, the chemistry that Sheppard has along with everyone else on the offense, and just how much weak side vision and passing capabilities Sheppard really has in his game. So the primary action here is just a Sheppard Wagner DHO on the left wing, but the key to it is everything that happens down here on the right at the bottom of your screen with Antonio Reeves and his movement. So all Sheppard is being asked to do, he's not being asked to create for himself at all here. He's just being asked to get the ball in Antonio Reeves' hands and read and react to what the defense does and what Reeves' movement is down here. So as the handoff is happening up here, Reeves is trying to shake Tremont Mark. He has a couple different options of screens that he can run off of, and he tries to go over. But Mark does a really good job of kind of top locking him and taking away that ability to curl off the screen and get the ball at the top of the arc, where Reeves has been so dangerous. The entire time that that's happening, Sheppard is receiving the ball while also reading what's happening over here. As Reeves cuts back, he knows that Tremont Mark is kind of out of the play, and is just trying to figure out the timing between Mark getting back to Reeves and when this help and how aggressive and help this defender in the middle of the paint is going to be. So as Reeves cuts, the help defender does a pretty good job of staying there as long as he can. The secondary help defender probably could have done a little better job here of tagging, allowing the main help defender to recover out to Big Z, because Big Z is a willing and capable shooter, so he can't just stay cemented in the lane here. He has to get back out there. And while Tremont Mark is doing his best to recover, his head is turned and he has no idea where the ball is. He's just focused on getting back to Reeves. And the entire time, Sheppard is reading all of that. He knows that whatever pass he makes, Mark has a minimal chance of disrupting it. The second this help defender moves to go back out to Big Z, Sheppard initiates that pass to Reeves and sets up the layup. So one more time, full speed, handoff up here, cut. Sheppard is reading the weak side help defenders, times the pass perfectly, and leads Reeves to the bucket. This one is just a really fun example of Sheppard's anticipatory passing and ability to, yet again, read and kind of manipulate those weak side defenders. This is just in the natural flow of the offense. They're moving the ball. As Sheppard gets this pass on the wing here, he's looking and reading this weak side defender, because he knows that we'll rewind it a little bit here, but after Mitchell kind of sets the screen for Dillingham to come off of, he sees the defenders switch this, or at least Mitchell's defenders switch up, and Blue Cane having to switch back down. So as he's receiving this ball, he knows that Mitchell's going to roll into the lane here. This interior defender is connected to Big Z, so it's all about, what is this guy, as the low man, as the weak side defender, what is he going to do? Because Sheppard knows that if he steps up into the paint to try and tag and take away Mitchell, then he has the skip pass over here to Reeves. And if this defender stays out of the paint in an attempt to not give up the skip pass to one of the best off-ball shooters and scorers in the country, then he has Mitchell rolling straight to the rim and wide open in the lane, because Blue Cane he can't recover in time. So as Mitchell cuts, the weak side defender stays out of the paint. Sheppard reads it and just gets it out of his hand in the blink of an eye. Just incredibly quick processing and decision making. So catch, go, leads him perfectly to the rim, puts it in a spot where Kane can't recover to, can't even disrupt, and Mitchell has a wide open layup. So one more time, just the speed in which Sheppard's able to analyze this weak side defender and make that decision and deliver an incredibly accurate pass. It's absolutely perfect and what you want to see from one of the best passers in this draft. All right, the final area where Sheppard's passing is really just one of the best in the country is in transition. Kentucky has one of the most exciting and fast-paced, high-tempo offenses in the country, and a big reason for that is Sheppard's ability to immediately get them into their offense in 5 seconds or less. We've seen how he's able to kind of do that in terms of scoring with those kind of quick shifty moves in transition, get to a spot, make that right decision in the blink of an eye, and just get the best bucket available. And that ability to kind of turn really good defensive playmaking into immediate offense. But nowhere in his game does it shine more than in his transition passing and his hit ahead passes. When we think about NBA spacing, NBA scores, NBA athletes, it is so exciting to think about how Sheppard can really fit into and elevate an NBA team's transition offense. So here, they're just going to get the defensive rebound. It's eventually going to get in Sheppard's hands. And as he's coming up the court, his eyes are always looking forward. He's always looking for what is the best pass and decision that I can make that can get us a bucket in the blink of an eye. As he's coming up, he sees that all four defenders, 5 is back here, but all 4 defenders are well above the free throw line, and his teammate, we can just kind of see his trailing foot right here, is the farthest man to the rim. Without hesitation, Sheppard's going to thread this needle through traffic and lead his 7-footer directly to the rim. There's pace. It's at a height that Bradshaw can easily catch it and kind of do a couple different things. He's able to halt his momentum. Sheppard's pass isn't taking him out of bounds. It's not too low where he's fumbling it. It's absolutely perfect where he can catch it high and has time to either go straight up or react to whatever this defender does. Little shot fake, easy dunk. Full speed. All of this is because Sheppard's vision and passing accuracy is so special. All right, this one comes after Kentucky gives up a layup. So Sheppard came from the weak side, didn't quite get the block, but as he's receiving this inbounds pass, his eyes are already looking up. As he's catching it, he sees that 4 of their defenders, of St. Joe's defenders, are below their own free throw line. So as he's coming, he knows that there's one lone defender back here, and he knows that Antonio Reeves is streaking up the left wing. He launches this from just outside the opposite three-point line, across court, through traffic, right to Reeves to catch it in stride and finish with the layup. That is incredible. Just incredible accuracy, vision, and even though they just gave up a bucket, he's like, all right, screw it, lost cause. We gave up a bucket, no biggie. Let's go get those 2 points back immediately. And just the narrow window, that is really high-level stuff. NBA teams that have 1 or 2 really good defensive rebounders and love to have their guys kind of contest and then leak out in transition, they're going to adore playing with Reed Sheppard. Right here, as we can see, Arkansas sends 4 of their 5 guys to the offensive glass. Bold move, Cotton. The shooters in the corner here, 4 guys crashing for the offensive rebound. They don't get it. And as the shot hits off the rim, Antonio Reeves immediately sprints out. He knows what his job is. He knows what his assignment is. And as Sheppard is grabbing this rebound, he's still midair. His eyes are already looking up court. He's already looking out to this opposite wing and looking for Antonio Reeves. The second his feet touch the ground, he's already loading up that pass because he knows every single Arkansas player is below the free throw line and that Antonio Reeves is going to win this foot race. Reeves throws it out in front of him, leads him perfectly. They get the foul. Just full speed. Again, Sheppard's processing speed and vision and passing accuracy, full display, really incredible. Again, we see how important Sheppard's vision, anticipation, and especially his defensive rebounding is on this play. He has a defensive rebounding rate that's over 13 on the season, which in totality is just solid, but for a 6'2", 6'3" guard, that is crucial, especially when it means that it allows his team to get into their offense those couple of seconds quicker. It takes away an outlet pass that a big has to make to Sheppard, and then Sheppard can, proceed from there. It allows them to immediately get the ball in Sheppard's hands and go. Again, Reeves contests and immediately leaks out as Sheppard is securing the ball, head up, as always. and immediately sees that this defender is backpedaling. As he takes a dribble, he sees that Reeves has already beaten his defender, that he already has a couple steps on him, launches it perfectly, leads Reeves right to the rim, gets the foul. We'll just go full speed one more time just to see the distance. On the money. All right, last one. Again, just really highlights Sheppard's awareness, ability to kind of lead teammates to easy scores, and recognize where the defenders are, not only where they are, but also how their body is positioned, what they're capable of doing in those positions. So apologies if you are rolling your eyes at yet another outlet pass, but it's fascinating how effective and quickly Sheppard's able to constantly get his team into their offense, just set up easy points in the blink of an eye. And it's all anticipatory and awareness stuff that also translates to the half court, like we saw with his previous playmaking stuff. So as Kentucky gets this defensive rebound, ball is immediately going to Sheppard. Onyenso, big man, running the court, trying to beat the opposing big men to the opposite paint. As Sheppard is kind of pushing the ball, he's reading this defender, he's reading this defender, he's reading this defender, and the common theme with all of them, they're all just backpedaling, while Onyenso is full-on sprinting. Sheppard sees that. He knows that if he just airs the ball out and lets his 7-footer go get it, he's going to have a really good chance at an easy bucket here. Sheppard launches it, and look at that. Onyenso is already the farthest man down the court, catches it in stride, finishes through the foul. It's just the accuracy, the distance, the difficulty, and just the quick decision making and confidence. It's just really special stuff every time from Reed Sheppard. Reed Sheppard's offensive game is one of the most fun individual and well-rounded skill sets in the entire country, let alone the 2024 NBA draft. If you want to nitpick and say you don't think he's going to shoot over 50% from three, then yeah, I would bet on that as well. But just because he's not shooting 52.5% from three in the NBA doesn't mean that he's not going to be an awesome shooter. He has legit NBA range, can pull up off the bounce, off the catch. He's really intuitive with his off-ball movement and ability to kind of relocate and find those open pockets, while also being able to run off of handoffs and off his screens to then create his own shot, but then also, more importantly, create for others and find actions going on the weak side. If there's a defensive miscommunication, he's going to exploit it. If there's a defensive lapse in fundamentals or a guy gets caught leaning just a little bit the other direction, he's going to capitalize on it. Everything he does on the offensive end is extremely measured and extremely consistent and extremely efficient. It's everything that you want out of an NBA guard. So, yes, there are some concerns that he's not this big-time athlete who's going to be a dominant rim pressure guy, but his ability to catch defenders leaning one way or the other and then burst out of his drive, and that quick first step, that quick ability to explode from a hesitation move out of crossovers, he's able to get to his spots in the blink of an eye. So even if he doesn't have that breakaway speed or that high-level, high-flying explosiveness, his first two steps are so quick, and then his decision-making after that is so incredibly fast and consistent that it doesn't matter if a defender catches up to him after 4 steps, because he's already either made a shot or made the pass after those first 2 or 3 steps. His brain just works at a different speed and a different level than most of the guys in this draft. His playmaking, his ability to lead guys in transition, to find cutters on the weak side, all of it is really high-level stuff. So much of the discussion with Reed Sheppard has been, what is he really? Or how much of this is a fluke? It's been a full season. And all of the numbers are ridiculous. He's the real deal. So we got to stop thinking about him as, could he be the 6-man backup point guard? No. Let's stop thinking if he has potential starter upside, and we really need to reframe the discussion about, does he have potential all-star upside? And there's obviously going to be a a rookie wall. There's obviously going to be some struggles and adjustments to dealing with NBA size and athleticism, but it's not like he's playing in a tiny conference. He's playing in the SEC. And all of those questions that keep coming up right now, throughout all the way through draft day, they were all questions that people had coming into the year. No one expected any of this from Reed Sheppard. And despite it, he's been one of, if not the best players on a really high vaunted Kentucky team that's loaded with talent. So we got to stop doubting and got to stop thinking about what can't he be? What's wrong with his game? Because there's so much of his game that's very clearly translatable, and all of it has been done at an exceptionally high level all season long. Stop doubting Reed Sheppard because he really looks like he's the real deal. Sure, always nitpick, always find things to keep an eye on. But at the end of the day, these guys are showing us who they are as players. And Reed Sheppard is a damn good basketball player.